Hope you guys are doing great today. Let's get right into your March messages. I'm going to be talking about astrology and with some tarot. I'm going to timestamp in the description box for the tarot. I'm still going to be doing my weekly. There's going to be more astrology in this video than I typically do. So if you're not into that, check the timestamp. You could just jump forward to the tarot. For those of you who are interested in the astrology, we're going to be discussing a lot of the shifts and changes that are going to be going on this month, right? Also in the description box below, you guys are going to see a code that says thank you 333. I have been just, can you believe I'm doing this for 2 years? So I figured I would offer a discount for all my readings just for the month of March, as long as the slots, they are filling up. I offered this yesterday, and they are filling up. So if you're into it, you could book now for the month of March, just to say thank you. All right, Sagittarius, let's get right into this. Let's talk about Mars and Gemini in your seventh house of marriage, of partnerships, of any sort of bonded relationship. So Mars is that beautiful warrior planet that's been in the shadows for a couple of months, or at least he's been feeling that way. So he's finally, wherever we're having this Mars energy, whatever house it's in, it's going to make us feel like we're being catapulted. So it's like catapulted into or out of something that has to do with partnership or relationship. So this can mean a couple of things. On the one hand, this is the house of marriage, right? Can also be business partners or anyone else, again, who you have this shared bond energy with. It's like a lot of times they even think this is like even a family connection or a family member or a really good friend where you have that shared soul connection. But this is going to be happening for you in your seventh house from the 3rd of March to April 23rd. And this happens once every 2 years. So, with Mars has been really feeling very stuck in the shadows, as I mentioned in January and February, now making you feel like this push in any seventh house matter. So great for discussing Gemini, right? Discussing is Gemini. Great for discussing getting married or any issue within your current marriage or your serious relationship, or you can be taking on a new business partner, or maybe you're even deciding to go separate ways. But the thing here is whatever's being decided, whether it's something to be dissolved, like a partnership or a marriage, anything like that, or to take a different strategy to a situation. This is a really good energy to discuss how things need to go moving forward. Mars encourages us to stand up for ourselves, right? Mars is that warrior energy. It's like, how good do you feel in this, right? Is this meant for you, right? Mars is the Tower card in tarot, and the Tower is all about the lights coming on and us taking a really good look and realizing that the foundation of something that we were involved in is maybe not quite as strong as we really thought, maybe not as strong as we would really have liked. So we need to release that situation so that we could get into something energetically that's more suited for us. And that's what Mars is all about. But Mars is also there to say, this thing that you're in is amazing. And you may be changing the lens through which you view things, so it's going to mean something a little different to each of you, but you're definitely going to have this Mars in Gemini energy where there's going to be very assertive. I said assertive, not aggressive. Make sure it's assertive, not aggressive communication regarding that, whatever needs to be addressed in that partnership. It's all about that. It's figuring something out. Gemini is also about learning, a very fundamental level of learning. So approaching something from maybe a completely different viewpoint that you didn't even think about before. And I do like this. I feel like it is going to ultimately end up being, wherever we have this, you guys happen to have it here in the seventh house, it's going to end up bringing you to a space that's very necessary for you to be in, ultimately, for your overall path. Now, we always also want to keep in mind the shadow manifestation of any of these planets, right? So Mars is shadow manifestation. Keep in mind, Mars rules Aries. Aries is the emperor. It's like, ideas are popping. I want to do me. I want to be me and all that. Lots of self-confidence, but it's, I want to do what I want to do the way I want to do it, when I want to do it. And that, that kind of thing. Just be careful of that, only because that's not going to be well received in this energy. So as I'm talking about more of like you harnessing the energy of Mars to work for you rather than against you. So it's more about temperance rather than tempering a situation, rather than being too in somebody's face, or even allowing anybody to be in too much in your face. It's kind of like, all right, step it back a little bit, especially during Pisces season, because things are softer during Pisces season. We are more sensitive during Pisces season. We're going to talk about that. But first, let's talk about March 4th and 5th. We have Jupiter and Mercury are conjunct in Aquarius in your third house of communication, of short distance travel, of siblings, of learning, of third house learning is very fundamental learning. It's like taking a workshop or a course. It's kind of like third house is like learning to tie your shoe. Ninth house, which is which is you, right? Since you guys are ascendant and descendant, you're more about higher education. Gemini is about like lower education, primary school, right? But, if we apply it to just general life, it could be that you're learning a new strategy, learning a new skill set, lots of communication here. This is telling me, Sag, absolutely online. Those of you who have anything going online, that's third house. Also doing business, right? Signing things on the dotted line. Now, you guys are the house more of negotiation, but once you negotiate, we go to the third house to sign the papers. You follow? So I feel like that dynamic is going to be very, very active for you. For sure, and Mercury rules the third house too. So, and Gemini's a landlord, obviously, to assist a fellow air sign, right? Of Aquarius, right? And this is all happening in Aquarius. And in Aquarius, whatever happens here is meant to be different than what you've been doing. Because remember, Aquarius is always about unique, different, doing things out of the box. And it's always very future focused, because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. It's always about focusing on the future. But whatever's happening here for you, whatever you're learning, whoever you're communicating with, whatever business deal you have nursing, whatever is going on here is meant to benefit you in the future, because Jupiter is about expansion and fortune, even serendipitous circumstances, right? Mercury's that communication, again, solving problems, signing papers. Remember, Mercury also rules Virgo. So you want to keep that in mind, because Virgo is the house of problem solving, right? So it's like through learning and communicating, it really is like the magician energy, right? This is what I always talk about with the magician card and tarot, is Mercury, right? It is this energy, this alchemical trying to figure something out, right? So you might be trying a different approach to something, but on the whole, what's interesting about this particular energy is I'm speaking about all of this, online this and communication, all of that. On the whole, though, these couple of days are actually going to be pretty chilled out. They're going to be pretty serene. And but I want you to understand, it's just a few days, it might be even like a day or two on each side. So a few days. It's almost like the calm before the expansion, though, you know, calm before, because there is definitely going to be expansion here. When we go from Pisces season into Aries season, when we have the astrological new year, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, um, there there's expansion. There's no question. So this is sort of like, getting your ducks in a row kind of deal. Really good energy to meet new people in as well, right? Because Aquarius is the sign of the humanitarian and our friends, right? And also, it's the energy of associating with people. It's also, Aquarius is the landlord of like the second money house. So it's 11th house, right? That has to do with the gains and goals and all of that. But people are indicated here. So I do feel like a lot of you are going to be meeting a lot of people, at least initially, that are going to end up helping you in this space, right? In your third house. So you may be meeting a lot of people through guys, excellent for networking. Those of you who are trying to like get your own business going, or trying to further develop a business, anything like that, really good networking, really good energy to meet somebody new online if you're looking to start something new with somebody online, for sure. Great for researching anything online, anything like that, really good for short distance travel, anything like that. I feel like is just is very benefic here, just because of Jupiter hanging out there. um so I really like this, and I feel like you're just going to be meeting people who are going to be very beneficial to this experience, to this day-to-day kind of, and I'm saying day-to-day because Mercury also rules Virgo, which is the day-to-day, but it's like this very practical, pragmatic experience that you're trying to develop. You're going to be meeting somebody that's going to end up having a very profound impact on your life. Now that could range from like a new romantic interest to somebody through networking to whatever it is that you're trying to begin. You might be meeting a new lawyer or something like that. You know what I mean? Could be anything like that, because third house again and ninth house work together. So that ninth house energy is about negotiating, right? So you would need a good lawyer for that if you're doing that within business, or it could also have to do with maybe a spiritual advisor, right? That would be ninth house as well. So, and anything like that, I try to give as many scenarios so that you can understand it a little more directly. But we're all going to be feeling more thoughtful and more pensive in this energy for sure. And particularly about what we've been through and where we're going and how we could, what we're supposed to take with us and what we're supposed to get rid of, right? Because again, very future focused regarding this third house situation. So you may be realizing, you know what, maybe I need to change the way in which I communicate. Maybe I need to, be a little more approachable to learning things, new things. Maybe I need to focus on like expanding my network and expanding what I know to be true. The thing is, a lot of us are just going to be feeling very sort of like this sense of expansion. I don't want to keep saying that, but it truly is. I feel like you guys are going to be feeling it a lot for a couple of reasons. I mean, A, you're the south node of the moon right now, and B, you're ruled by Jupiter already. So I just feel like this is like expansion on top of expansion, on top of releasing karma and releasing things that aren't serving you. It's like, wow. So I feel like that. It's interesting though. I feel like for a lot of Sagittariuses, um, and comment if this is you. I just feel like this generally, like just when I look at the chart of the archetype, it's like work is going well. You have so much potential that's cooking right there, but relationship is more of a bit of a challenge. So very interesting mix of energy I get when I like a lot of shifts in relationship. I do say very interesting. But March 10th to the 15th, I'm calling these the mystical days, right? Because we have this crazy Pisces stellium that's going to end up inciting a very layered feeling in us. So I want to explain this because and I feel a responsibility to explain this. And you guys who've been watching me know that I'm typically not like this. I don't say this. I'm always learning. I am always studying. I'm always learning different things. I'm like a ridiculous reader and researcher and stuff. But and it takes a lot to ruffle my feathers. But this particular energy from the 10th to 15th is not about unicorns and butterflies. Okay. This Pisces stellium, even though Pisces is the deepest water energy and it's old and it's sensitive and it's beautiful and it's sweet, it's creative, and it's where we want to dream and get lost. It's a very interesting energy in relation to all of the energies that are going on. So I want to talk about this. The sun is going to be in conjunct in both Venus and Neptune in Pisces. Neptune rules Pisces. Could we have a little more smoke and mirrors, please? So just understand a couple of things straight out of the gate. You're going to feel fabulous, dreamy. You're going to allow yourself to go there in your mind's eye. Your subconscious is going to be feeling this uplift, like things are going to be okay. Things are good. They're going in a good direction. I'm feeling really good about this. Hold on to that. Don't not feel that, but just know that you might be looking at that perception through what you may not recognize to be a thick fog. There may be things on the other side of it that you're not privy to just yet. But this is what's crazy. Intuitively, you're going to feel that. So let me talk about this for a minute. And this is in your fourth house also. Going into this, is this is a strange stellium, right? Because of the dynamic that's happening here between the inner and the outer planets are going to be giving you this feeling that you need to release something in this fourth house, which is again the house of home. It's where you live, it's who you live with. Um, this is the house of parents. I prescribe to that. I don't only prescribe to mother. It's ruled by the moon. Fourth house is ruled by the moon, Luna, mother. Typically, the father is associated with the sun, which is the fifth house, but I think that's a little old, a little outdated. I still kind of recognize that, but I like to throw parents into the experience of parenting, right? Because a lot of people are tight with their parents if they're fortunate enough to have that experience where they're close with their father. So I like to throw them in if that applies to you, okay? Um, so because fourth house is the house of like your early childhood experience. The fourth house can also be metaphorically how grounded, rooted, and safe and secure do you feel, right? um, so it's this idea of home that has this Neptune Pisces energy, Venusian focus, because the sun is there all over it. So this can be a focus feeling that something needs to end. um, so that something that you're dreaming about can manifest. You follow? So let's say, for example, this can mean moving out of a home and moving into a home, and maybe not just living in a home, but transitioning into a full-time work environment. But it's like something needs to be released so that some dream can manifest, right? So for some of you, maybe you've been realizing like, you know what I want my home life to be? Look in my mind's eye. That's what I want my home life to be. Oh, but guess what? That doesn't square with my reality. So maybe I need to release this person I'm living with, or this person who you know, whatever, this place that I'm living, or maybe the way I'm working inside of my home, right? I need to release that so that I could bring into my energy field what it is that I really want, this dream idea that I have in my own mind. Right. So some of you may be doing a lot of switching in this way because there's something that you're dreaming about that's not completely squaring with the reality that you're living right now. I hope that makes sense. And what I've been saying in this energy too, it's like we've been doing this huge inhale, right? So Sagittarius, for you, you've been doing this very extensive inhale in the fourth house of home. You're breathing in, you're waiting, you're waiting, you're waiting. It's time to release and exhale. It's time to let something go. What have you been inhaling so much? You need to like release something now, but you may not feel fully ready to release it. And that's the trippy part. We want to stay very open to the energy. Only those who are going to be very dug in are going to have a poor experience in this energy because it really is surrounded by a lot of positive. You just need to understand that. Um, Now, this does not mean that everybody's like getting divorced and moving out for goodness sake. No, it's everything that I mentioned. Some of you may have issues going on with your parents. Some of you may be doing some super deep work on your early childhood because the fourth house is the house of the stories that we tell ourselves, particularly about our early childhood experience, and really wanting to address that once and for all. So it can manifest many ways. So I don't want you to be trying to make it fit where it doesn't fit. Okay. And also understand that this is going to resonate strongest with Sagittarius risings, right? I don't know what your particular rising is, but that's what drives the house placements, just so that you know that. Um, but you have to really listen to your gut. You know, what is this next phase bringing for you? What is your gut telling you? What needs to be released? And the thing is, what's interesting here with the Pisces and Neptune energy, you may literally be confused about what the answer to that is. So while a fantasy of something seems very real, what may seem a little unreal is how to actually make that happen. Less because of confusion and more because it's not really squaring with your life right now. I hope that wasn't too confusing, but I want you to enjoy the energy. I'm recommending that you enjoy the energy. If you can take some time off from work, that would be fantastic right now. This is a great week to just chill out somewhere, have a cocktail with somebody that you care about, a friend, a lover, whoever, doesn't matter, and just talk about life and set plans, up in your mind and have those great conversations. But it's not a good time to like run off to Vegas and get married, as I've been saying, or like quit your day job straight out of the gate. Not during this particular energy. Now, remember I said there were 3 layers of this. So on the first level, you're going to be feeling very dreamy. The second level, you're going to be feeling like, I feel like I need to release something in order to get that. And then the third level is the pressure of a situation that can end up giving you anxiety that's really not that unfounded. So there's some sort of situation at home, about a home, with somebody you live with, or even a situation like I mentioned with your parents that you're unsure or insecure about, or you're going to be in the space where you're wondering if somebody's being deceptive, or if you could even trust the energy of the good stuff that you're feeling. And you could feel this internally in a way that feels really frustrated because you're gently frustrating to you because you may feel like very unclear about how to move forward in it. So there's a version of a reality that you are envisioning in your mind's eye that may be unrealistic. It may be exaggerated in the moment, or something that you're planning right now in this energy that may actually not end up working out. Doesn't mean something's not going to work out, but it may not be that. Right? And the thing is here, you're feeling it. It's not even like you're playing any mind games with yourself, even if it hasn't come to pass yet. So it's like you're allowing yourself to dream. You're allowing yourself to recognize that that dream is not squaring with your reality. You're allowing yourself to realize that something needs to give in order for you to get what it is that you really want. But at the same time, in order to release that thing, you're also realizing that there's this anxiety associated with that letting go. I hope that makes sense. I know it's kind of complex, this damn astrology, but it's, but I am saying about this energy that's really good and not complicated. It is a really good energy to soft sell somebody on something in this area for you. So if you're trying to convince somebody of something, if you're trying to, if you have an idea and you're trying to convince somebody of something, it's a really good soft sell energy. But at the same time, we have on March 13th, still hanging in this fourth house, we have the new moon in Pisces, more Pisces energy. But this marks the beginning of a new cycle, right? Because we're leaving that Aquarius new moon cycle and we're beginning this one. And this is a really good energy to commit to personal goals that express the Pisces energy. And Pisces in its elevated form is beautiful. It really is such a beautiful energy. It's Pisces energy in its elevated form really likes to take chances, believe it or not. A lot of people don't know that about Pisces. They really do like to take chances, but also they're so accepting. It's like seeing the perfection in something's imperfections or a person's perfections that you've up to this point may be seen as imperfect. Now, I'm saying a person, it can be a person or not. Fourth house, again, you might be realizing, you know what, my house isn't so bad after all. Maybe I don't want to sell it. Or that house that you were getting might be even better than you first anticipated, or you were maybe a little trepidatious to buy that house and ends up being even better. Or that person that you're living with, maybe you're going to see them through a different lens right now. That's really just going to incite a different type of tolerance, a different type of empathy and kindness. Or you could also be getting into this space where it's like, wow, you know what? I think I've been martyring myself in a situation having to do with this person that I live with, or having to do with that circumstance with my parents, or staying in this home. And you know what? I don't want to do that anymore. You know what I mean? And it's you getting in touch with that and saying, I think it's time that even though I'm scared and even though I might not feel 100% ready, that's okay. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. And knowing that is perfect. Not allowing the fear of something to stop you, right? So figuring out how you could move out or how you could move into something, or figuring out that situation that maybe was really troubling you, maybe regarding your parents, something going on with them. Very potent energy though. Very potent energy. We're definitely going to be feeling a lot more like kind and gentle through this, even though it's going to be a very emotional energy. Of course, it's going to be emotional. It's Pisces season. Pisces is the oldest water sign, right? Think about an ocean that has no bottom, and there you have Pisces, right? It's just it's such a lovely energy. It really, really is. But it's also where we get in our own way. That 12th house energy, that's what we call the house of self-undoing. So you want to try your very, very best to find some balance if you can. You just might be realizing that something in that fourth house is more like it's more bent than broken. Um, and that could just even have to do with fears that you have surrounding that energy as well. But you're gonna have the strength to release something once and for all. But it's also going to be a very distinct feeling like we're all moving forward, right? Because we do have Sirius is going to be conjunct Chiron and Aries at this new moon. So there's going to be a lot of healing about where it is that we're going. There's healing, healing, healing. So I do like that. Now, on March 20th, woohoo, we have the equinox, and this is the astrological new year, one of the most important days of the year for astrology and astrologers. This is where the sun enters Aries. A little fun fact, a lot of people do believe that this is the time when Christ was born. Believe, don't believe, fun fact. Have fun with that fact. So the sun in Aries, here we go. So we're leaving the water. We're leaving water and we're going into fire, right? You have this fellow fire sign, right? Aries, Sagittarius, you have this in your fifth house. I have to tell you, Sagittarius, those of you who are single may just find yourselves dating up a storm, like just meeting a ton of people, being like, just being super extra cute. I mean, this fiery, because you have to understand this equinox is about birthing, and this is happening in your house of romance, love affairs, creativity, entrepreneurial efforts, children. Be careful if you don't want to get pregnant. You guys are a very optimistic energy in the first place, very fun-loving sign who's just not afraid to step off the beaten path and forge your own path. I love Sagittarius energy. Maybe it's because I'm a gem sun. I don't know. But I have so many fun Sagittarius. I just have such a good time with Sagittarius in my life. Anyway, little aside. This is like time to travel though, Sag. You need to go on like a little something something trip. And because of COVID, if you can't like get on a plane and go somewhere, maybe a day trip, something like that, or even just travel through your mind, movies, something like that, film, take on a new area of study, education, research. You guys love all that stuff. This is a time for new beginnings and learning new things. And this particular spring equinox, right, time of renewal, it applies to relationships as well. Actually, relationships and love seem to be the only things that are going to permeate your feelings right now for you. This is for Sagittarius. So it's okay to feel like kind of sensitive if you're in your feels right now. You might be in your feels right now, and it might not be totally comfortable because somebody might be pushing you to really look at yourself or some aspect about relationship, which I just think is kind of interesting. So allow yourself, right, to place your feelings in the hands of somebody else and trust them enough to actually let go. Now, besides romance, you will likely feel a strong focus on your creativity. A lot of you on your children, or the idea of having children, a strong desire to take a chance, because fifth house is about taking a chance on something important, especially something creative. My brother-in-law is a Sagittarius, and he is, a lot of you know this, Ray Romano is my brother-in-law, and he's actually in the land of COVID, he's actually making his first film. He's very nervous but he's doing it. He's directing it. He's financing it. He's doing all of like everything. I mean, he's been in a bunch of movies. Obviously, a lot of you know that, but he's doing his own jam. So I just realized that. So that's good for him. I have to send him this. Okay. So on the 24th to the 29th, we have Venus and the Sun conjunct Aries in your fifth house. So more fifth house energy. You are going to feel so focused and motivated to do anything having to do with love, creativity, paying attention though within all of this to what makes you feel good. That's what we get with Venus and the Sun conjunct in Aries. Aries is a very me-based energy, and the Sun is all about focus, and Venus is about how you feeling in that. Do you feel good? Because Venus isn't only about love. Venus has to do with money, and it also has to do with our sense of self. So you're going to be very focused on how do you feel in that area surrounding the energies that you're meeting, because you will be meeting a lot of energies. You will, most of you will be, those of you who are going to be opening yourself up to that. How are you feeling with this creative endeavor? How are you feeling with this new entrepreneurial effort? How are you feeling about things with your kids, having a child? How are you feeling that relationship? Whatever it is, that connection, time for a new approach though, right? Because you're going to be asking these questions, and chances are, because it's spring and it's birth, there's going to be this new approach, and these feelings are going to be presenting themselves to you as truth that need addressing. So it's just really awesome, I think. So there's going to be a softening of the edges, certainly around in this energy, to make the changes to address that thing in a different way. There's going to be a softening of the edges, which is really, really great. Just remember to be assertive and not aggressive. It's very easy to get caught up in wanting what you want the way you want it here. Be super aware of that going into something, and just stay very open. So we have on the 28th, we have the full moon in Libra in your 11th house of goals and gains. This is the second money house here as well. Here, you're going to be re-examining relationships with the me versus we. Between you and friends, associates, anyone who's on this journey with you, who's a key player on your path to where you see yourself going. So, and I've been calling this in all the videos, this is an out of bondage, it's an into the promised lands kind of energy. So you might have a strong need for balance and harmony right now with those 11th house energy. So people maybe that you are networking, or your friends, or really kind of generally whoever you sort of feel this again, anyone who is a key player on your path. And remember, the 11th house works with the 5th house, right? 11th house and 5th house work together. So the 11th house is Aquarius and the 5th house is Leo. So that's all about like the romance on your path. You want there to be harmony, that creativity. You want to be able to bring it into the people that you're networking with, right? So again, it's about balancing out. Now, your desire ultimately is probably going to be like, let's keep everything nicey nice, and let's not, because that's Libra energy. It's going to be happening in Libra. Let's keep everything nicey nice, and let's not talk about the elephant in the room. Let's not talk about the fact that, um, that person is just not like what they seem to be, or things. You're not going to even want to go there, right? Kind of like viscerally, but push yourself to, right? Because something needs to be addressed here regarding fairness. you know you're not going to want to disturb the peace, but you're going to be pushed to talk about what's fair and what's not fair, and you'll be like, I don't want to talk about it. Oh wait, and it's going to be nagging at you. So just figure out how to share your feelings, good and bad. Don't be afraid of who you really are, despite what they're thinking of you, right? In this energy, because you guys are always like, very fun loving energy. You might be a little more serious in this energy, but not in a bad way, but just more direct. You've been focusing on what brings you pleasure, right? Up to this point, right? Leading into this full moon. So everything 5th house, as I mentioned, so you've been focusing on what you want to do because you like to do it, your hobbies, romantic activities, things with your kids, whatever. But now you realize that the role you play in others' lives, either as like a spouse or a parent or a friend, is an important element in your overall happiness. So if things haven't been feeling good, it's going to be very illuminated here. And you're going to want to balance the scales. You're looking for validation from friends, from group activities right now. You might even be called upon to perform some sort of humanitarian gesture. For example, a friend might experience a crisis and ask you for help. You might suddenly find yourself around many people, maybe after a period of like a lot of solitude and private time. All of a sudden, you're surrounded by a lot of people. All of a sudden, it's like, the networking is like kind of really a thing in your life, more so than it's been. This can also manifest, in the way of you trying to get a creative project off the ground, and you're busy trying to network and iron out the details of something. You just want to make sure that the negotiations being made in this energy are good for you, are right for you. Meaning, like, you want balance in that relationship. Make sure that you're not selling yourself out for the balance. Make sure that you feel good about that business transaction if somebody is coming on board with you for any sort of creative project. Okay. So that is what I have for you guys as far as the astrology goes. I hope that was helpful. So let's go right into pulling some cards. I'm going to drop my screen down so you can see the cards. Okay, just here. And we're just going to do a Celtic cross spread here just for general messages. And I'm going to be doing the other ones where I break everything out into business and relationship in a couple of days. You know how I do for the weeklies. Just like to do something different here. 8 of Wands, love it, love it. Woohoo! Good news coming in. Love it. Oh, and the moon. Okay. Yeah, we have the Death card, but we've been talking about that, haven't we? Queen of Swords, Knight of Cups. Okay, coming into this energy. King of Swords. Wheel of Fortune for you. Taking a chance. It's coming into this energy. We have the Knight of Cups. I mean, this is great for, this is like Prince Charming, Princess Charming. This is, well, as a general energetic influence, this could be just basically actually an emotional time, you know, just in general. Somebody coming and proposing something like, let's go out, or let's do this plan, or let's do this project, let's move, let's get that house, let's build this thing, whatever it is. A very emotional time within an existing relationship or being wrapped up in a new partner. You might be meeting you may have, you know, leading up into this energy, meeting a lot of new people. If you guys are meeting a Nine of Cups energy, this individual is very idealistic and they could seem pretty perfect, but they might be an idealist. And while they want a partner, they want to be in a relationship, they want to do business, they want to do A, B, and C, they're stuck behind a false persona and they might not be able to drop the act of who they really are. You know, so if you feel that you have felt somebody that you identify as this person, take your time with them and just make sure that they end up walking their talk, because you're very open to anything that's real right now. So if you're dealing with any energies that aren't real, you're not going to respond so well to them. You're just not. So that's in the energy coming into this. And then we have the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is awesome because this is good news coming in. Lots of busy communication. Great if you've been feeling held back or stuck waiting for a decision. Good news for growth coming in. Great news about love, especially if you've been separated. So really good. Cards are getting stuck. Ooh, hold your vision. Fixed moon. Yes, I like it. Hold your vision. So you have something that you want to get done in your life, in your mind's eye. You see it. You see it. It's very clear to you. Hold on to that and don't let anybody try to sway you any which way or the other, right? So we have this good news coming in and we have this working with the moon energy. Now the moon energy, the numerology, this is the Hermit energy, which I always think is about problem solving. But the moon does rule our emotions. So this can indicate, if having to do with a relationship, this could indicate something very confusing or disappointing, where you feel like somebody has let you down and you feel like there's this lack of trust that things are actually going to end up working out. And that pushes you to end up making a decision about the relationship. Now, maybe if you haven't been together and they call you, you're in this space of like, I don't know, I feel really disappointed with how they handle things. I don't know if I want to even get back, back with them. You're just not being sure. And if this has to do with career or money, you might be feeling disillusioned about, what you're in right now, just in general, right? And you might ultimately achieve a goal, but you may ultimately be in this space where it's like, I don't know, is it worth it? Very emotional energy. You could be feeling this with colleagues. You might feel the need that you have to protect yourself. You have to watch your back, and the thing here is like, money might be fine, but you want more satisfaction than just a paycheck, right? So you're in this, you might be making, your money might be fine, but you want more. You just want more, you know? And some of you just might be feeling, that disillusion can kind of drop over into like something going on at your home. You might be feeling disillusioned about where you're living right now, or you might be having second thoughts about a move or a home improvement project, maybe that ends up costing a lot more money than you originally thought, you know? So this could be what's going on here. And then we have the crowning energy is the death. So death, Scorpio energy, this is eighth house. Modern ruler is Pluto. So this does indicate something needing to end, right? But it just might be like a temporary energy. I mean, the death, after all, like numerology, it's connected to the emperor, which is about, fresh path, new beginnings. So big changes for sure, transformation, moving on, rebirthing yourself. So if this has to do with a relationship, this could indicate an ending or a break in something, right? That's very necessary if you guys are going to find your legs later on, but something hasn't been working up to this point, you know, something hasn't been working. And don't be surprised if you find like friendships falling away at this point, and you might be able to reconnect with them later, but they may not be meant to be on your path right now. Now, if this doesn't have anything to do with relationship and it has more to do with like career or money, there's a possible ending of some sort of business connection or an avenue of money. Things might be tough initially, but this energy does indicate that something new is like right on the other side of this. So just be patient. Um, what else could this mean? Let's see. Yeah, I mean, having to do with like your living situation, things might change because you realize that where you live no longer meets your overall needs. So this can manifest as an offer to move somewhere that incites like a new beginning for you, where you're going to be able to transform and change things. So I'm trying to give the different ways that could manifest for you. And then we have as the foundation, we have the Queen of Swords. Swords are truth. There's a lot of truth going on here. Motivated to try to find the truth and the psychological motivation of someone or of a situation. Like this energy is very strong and experienced, right? Very determined to, and standing strong. This, often does indicate like the single parent, but it doesn't have to, but it does indicate strength through adversity. So if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger kind of thing. And that is the foundation of your reading. So I mean, I kind of like that. Now we have here the Wheel of Fortune for you. So let's talk about this because in numerology, this is the Magician and the Sun. This is about something that's faded. This is a very fortunate energy. It also indicates change, a turning point, and taking a chance, right? It's a wheel. It's like in Vegas, right? It's the wheel. This does indicate strong intuition being at play here for you, psychic ability turned up. This can also indicate turning to something or someone from the past who magically, or that thing magically reappears in your life. This is a very destiny driven energy. It really is. Now, if this has to do with relationship, this could indicate an ex from the past coming back, but you need to think about that last go around. Do you think your connection has good enough bones to make it this time? If so, great. Jupiter will bless it. If not, and I always say, if you feel like you're trying to fit a circle in a square, chances are it's not going to go smoothly. And only you know the answer to that. If it has nothing to do with relationship, maybe it's about career or money, this does indicate good news coming in. But you have to be sure to prioritize what's being asked of you, exercising integrity while you're doing it. Understand this is a fated situation, and because it's Jupiter. And Jupiter is always in a very, very intimate dance with karma. So just, just make sure you're doing stuff. But honestly, expect the unexpected here. Positive change or adjustment in your living situation can be indicated here. Something or someone comes from out of nowhere and you're just like, whoa, just very fated wisdom is working in your life right now. So stay open though, right? Because as I always say, tarot and astrology, all of this really is very, very, very like a weather report. Are you going to engage, or are you just going to like stay home in your bed and not engage? So it's really up to you. The energy that's external to you, that's impacting you, is fabulous. This is about deserved success, great energy if you've been struggling lately. This is acknowledgement at work. Now, if this has to do with like a general influence of relationships, this does indicate like feelings being shared and well received, positive communication coming in that could end up leading to a deepening of connection. Now, for some of you, somebody may be calling you to have this conversation, and you're going to be in the space of needing to decide if it's worth it. And only you're going to be able to tell that, right? But in general, this is a good news energy in any aspect of your life. It could have to do with love, it could have to do with property, work, school, anything that you need to make a decision in. It's so I like this, right? Because we have to be careful with the wheel. The surrounding cards do really kind of drive the interpretation of it, as most cards, right? And then we have the Knight of Wands here in your challenge. Yeah. Knight of Wands in your challenge is Scorpio and Sagittarius energy. So if this is a person, this might be somebody who you find to be really impatient and they make snap judgments based on like first impressions. They're not very patient. Could be very charismatic, very talkative. Um, all of those things. This is an energy that you're dealing with, but you might be having a hard time with somebody like that, where they come in and they know what they want, and it's blah 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 blah, right? Scorpio and you guys in Sagittarius. So, Scorpio again is about Scorpio energy asks a lot of questions, is very passionate. It's always looking to motivate change, incite change. And the Sagittarius energy, when it's with the night energy like this, it could be this somebody coming in saying like they know everything kind of thing, right? And they're very impatient to everybody else's ideas. So that would be a challenge for you. This could also, just as an influence though, this could be your challenge here is feeling blocked, right? Where, because, with if this is positively aspected, it does mean like blocks are being lifted and decisions are coming in an area that you've been waiting for movement in, but you're feeling challenged in this way. So you may be just really, really frustrated right now because you really want to fire up your ambition, but you're feeling challenged in being able to do that right now. Now, that could be because of circumstance, right? That could be because of like COVID and just time, the need that's necessary to cultivate something. Maybe you just can't make the changes that you really want to make just yet because of other things going on in your life. We have the near future card. We have the King of Swords. This is really good, particularly for business especially, right? Because the King of Swords is popping up a lot right now, which is all about focusing on the mind instead of the heart and taking charge of your circumstances. And this makes perfect sense that this card keeps popping up in readings because it really is about taking charge of your life, right? Which is Aries season, you know? Yeah. Now you might be, if this is a person that you're dealing with, you might be dealing with like a very ambitious person who relies on logic. So this might even be you right now, outwardly calm, using sound logic, not too many emotions, staying very pragmatic, not allowing your heart to take over in a situation. And we have as the final outcome. So it could be a little more challenging if you're dealing with this person in a relationship, obviously, but because they don't even want their emotions to be part of the deal here. And then we have as the final outcome, we have the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles is all about increasing prosperity. So we love this as a general influence. It's about financial growth, a good investment of money, of time, whatever it is, any business venture or that you're doing on your own or with a partner. So does indicate an increase in money, or it could even indicate connection coming in. But you might have to work harder than you are right now, or way harder than you even thought you would have to be in order for something to be stable and secure at the end of the day. Okay. Um, yeah, so this is really about investing your time wisely and just being super consistent in your efforts, Consistency is going to be very, very key here. And I feel like you guys are going to be motivated to do that. So that is what I have. Yeah, make sure you hold on to your vision, Sag. Just looks good for you. All right, my friends, that is what I have for you. I hope this was helpful in some way. I will see you guys in a couple of days for the other tarot for relationship and extended career read. Can't wait to see what comes up for you for that. All right, see you then. Bye-bye.